Hello students. So I hope so you all know what is software engineering, what is SDLC. Now let's watch what is DecisionTree, an analysis and design tool. I am Dr. Alifia Jagidar, Assistant Professor of Abhiday Namdar Senior College. Do like and subscribe to the channel. The topics which we'll be covering in this session is Introduction to Analysis and Design Tool and then DecisionTree with an example. Software analysis and design includes all the activities which is going to help me to transform my specification into an implementation. So requirement specification will specify all functional and non-functional expectations from the software. The documents are in human readable format. Software analysis, that is called as SAD, is an intermediate stage which will transform my human readable into the actual code. There is analysis tool which will help the software engineer to create models of the system. The models can be on piece of paper or onto your system. The model will contain representation of data function, behavioral, characterization of data, component level and interface design. Now what is a decision? It is a process of choosing a course of action from among different alternatives to achieve the desired goal. So if I have many alternatives, my decision is which alternative I should choose to achieve my goals. That is a decision. Decision making is a daily activity for any human being. When it comes to business organization, decision making is a habit and a process as well. Effective and successful decision making will profit to the company, and unsuccessful is going to cause loss to the company. Therefore, the corporate decision making process is the most critical part in any organization, because the higher level are going to decide the decision, the strategies, and then it is going to get reflected to your business. In decision making, we choose one course of action from a very few possible alternatives which are present. In the process of decision making, we may use many tools, techniques and perceptions, because now the data is huge. So decision making can be achieved accurately and very easily by using different tools. Decision making is difficult because majority of corporate decisions involve some level of dissatisfaction or conflict with another party. So that is very difficult or hard, you can say. The process of decision making, each step may be supported by different tools. So if you see this diagram, the first step is identifying the purpose of the decision, why you're taking the decision. Information gathered, on basis of the information you're going to take the decision. Principles for judging the alternatives. Brainstorming and analyzing different choices. We always have A, B, C plan, and on that basis we are going to select which plan. Evaluation of all the alternatives is very important, because we are going to select the alternatives as well. And out of alternative, we are going to select the best alternative. We'll execute the decision and evaluate the results, whether they are positive or negative. So let's start with the first step is identification of the purpose of the decision. Here problem is thoroughly analyzed. The problem is analyzed and there are a couple of questions one should ask when it comes in identifying the purpose of the decision. Why I am doing this? Why I am taking this decision? So this is the question which I should ask to identify my purpose of decision. Second is information gathering. A problem of an organization will have many stakeholders. There can be dozens of factors involved and affected by the problem. So in this process, solving the problems, you will have to gather as much as information and factors related to stakeholders which are involved in the problem. For the process of information gathering, tools such as check sheets can be effectively used. For example, you are going to write check sheets like, did you interview the CEO? Did you put the questionnaire to the lower level workers? Did you interview the middle section? So these are check sheets where you will identify that you have gathered all the information. Okay. Principles for judging alternative. In this step, the baseline criteria for judging the alternative should be the setup. It comes to defining the criteria, the goals of organization, as well as your corporate culture, which has to be taken into the consideration when making the alternatives. Okay, when you're judging an alternative. For example, here profit is one of the main concern in every decision making process, because everything revolves around profit. Companies usually do not make decisions which will reduce the profit unless it is an exceptional case. For example, a company is closing down forever, then that is an exceptional case. Likewise, baseline principles should be identified related to the problem in hand. For example, you can take of this, there are many sales are going on in the monsoon. So that doesn't mean the company is not going to see the profit and put up the sale. It will always analyze, judge, and then decide the policies so that it makes the profit. Okay, brainstorm and analyze the different choices. Here they are going to list down all the ideas. Then before the idea generation step, it is vital to understand the cause of the problem and prioritization of cost. So the company, there are people who are the decision makers. They sit together, they analyze, they brainstorm the choices, and on that basis they are going to select the best option. Evaluation of alternatives. All the alternatives are evaluated. So use your judgment principles and decision making criteria to evaluate the alternative. In this step, experience and effectiveness of the judgment principles comes into play. You need to compare each alternative for their positives and negatives. So whenever you want to compare 2 or 3 alternatives, you always write down their advantages and disadvantages and then compare them. And then you can decide. Select the best alternative. Once you are from step 1 to step 5, it becomes very easy, because now you have to just select the best alternative in an informed decision, since you have already followed a methodology to derive and select the best alternative. Once you have selected your best alternative, the second last step is to execute the decision. You will convert your decision into a plan or a sequence of activities. You will execute your plan by yourself or with the help of subordinates and evaluate the result. The last step is you're going to evaluate your decision. See whether there is anything you should learn and then correct in future decision making. This is one of the best practice that is going to improve your decision making skills. You are learning from your past experiences and improving your future. Decision tree. What do you mean by decision tree? It is a graphical representation of possible solutions. I am going to have a problem and number of solutions to it, and to the decision based on certain conditions, I am going to decide what path I am going to follow. So it is called as decision tree because it starts with a single box, that is a root, and then branches off into number of solutions just like a tree. That is the reason it is called as root, and it has branches. It is called as decision tree. Now decision tree is a graph which has branching method. It displays all possible outcomes of any decision. We'll be seeing this particular decision tree with an example in the next slide. So it helps in processing your logic involved in decision making, and corresponding actions are taken. You decide, you act. This is how decision tree is done. It is a diagram which will show condition and their alternative actions within a horizontal tree framework. It will help the analyst to consider the sequence of decisions and identify the accurate decision that must be made. Links are used for decisions, while nodes represents goals. Decision trees simplify the knowledge acquisition process and are more natural than frames and rules, knowledge techniques, representations. Okay, so your decision tree will have one condition and multiple actions. How to draw decision making tree? Let me take a pen for you all. Okay. When you start decision tree with the decision that you need to make, first of all, the moment you read the query, draw a small square towards your left. Just excuse the diagram drawing. Okay. This is how you're going to make the square. From this, draw possible lines. Like for example, you want to go to college. Okay, this is the condition. If it rains, you will not go to college. If it does not rain, you will go to college. So you will have two possible ways, right? So if it is yes, you will go to college. Okay, and if it is no, you will stay at home. Okay, so this is how is decision. So this is the condition and these are the solutions. Okay, come back to the arrow. So here what it says, the same thing I have put it into point. It says that first draw a small square to represent this towards the left for a large piece of paper. So I have drawn it to here. You can draw it on the piece of paper, take it horizontally, or you can place it as landscape way, and then you can draw it, because it goes on very the decision can spread out to your fullscape page. Okay, from this box draw out lines towards the right for each possible solution and write the solution along the line. I have written here, see. Okay, at the end of each line consider the result. If the result of the taking that decision is uncertain, draw a small circle. Again, if you are uncertain about this, draw a circle here. If the result is another decision that you need to make, draw another square. Okay, write the decision or factor above the square or circle. If you have completed the solution at the end of the line, just leave it blank. Keep on doing this until you have drawn out as many as possible outcomes and decisions, as you can see, leading from the original decision. For example, this is where you want to go to college. If it rains, you will stay at home, but if your friend comes to pick you up, then you will go to college. So what I'm doing, I'm putting the decision, sub nesting. Okay, so sub decisions can be done. Let's see here. It is new product, and this is a consolidate. This is through development, this is rapid development, this is strengthen products, this is reap product, this is good, moderate, poor, good, moderate, poor, good, moderate, poor, good and product. So if it is a new product, I am going to go for thorough development or rapid development. It is a consolidate, that means it is have to strengthen the product, or I have to reap the product. Okay, so it can be good, moderate, poor, and reap the product, it can be good or poor. So this is what an example of decision tree. Then decision trees can be drawn by hand or created with graphics, as I told you all. Informally, decision trees are useful for focusing decision when a group must make decision. The decision tree consists of 3 nodes, remember it. Decision node, which is commonly represented by square. If you see this is called as decision node. Okay, chances node, it is represented by a chance node, where you can again go ahead with your own decisions. Okay, so here it is not stopped, but again here you can go ahead with your decisions. End node is represented by a rectangle, by a triangles. Okay, those are called as end node. Decision tree has only burst node, that is splitting path, but no sync nodes, converging path. So there is no sync node in decision tree, there is only an end path to your decision tree. It has 2 types of branches. One is decision branch, the other is event branch. The following table will show 3 kinds of nodes and 2 kinds of branches. Types of node is decision, chance and end. Written symbol is square, circle and end point. Computer symbol is square, circle and triangle, that is end. And node is square is decision branches. For chance it is event branches, and for end it is terminal value. This is an example. Now let's take an example. Your parents are visiting you. If it is yes, then you will watch cinema with them. If your parents are not visiting, then it might be through weather, like if it is sunny, windy and rainy. Then if it is sunny, you will play tennis, because your parents are not visiting due to cause of weather. If it is windy, then you may have money. Either you go for shopping or you go for cinema. If it is rainy, then you're going to just stay into your house and relax. So this is what is decision tree. Okay, if your parents are not visiting, then you have so many conditions to it. We can see this by reading the decision node, and if the parents are visiting, then go to the cinema, as I just told you. If parents are visiting, then go to cinema. If the parents are not visiting and it's sunny, then play the tennis. Or if the parents are not visiting and it's windy and you are rich, then go to shopping. If your parents are not visiting and it's windy and you are poor, then go to cinema. If the parents are not visiting and it's rainy, then stay in. So if you see this is the end. So you have not drawn anything over here. You've just kept it as blank. And this is where the condition answers is. If parents are visiting, yes. And this is where is the action. If your parents are visiting, no. Then this is the action, this is the question. Okay, they are not visiting, then let's check with weather. If it is yes, sunny, then play tennis, that is an action. If it is windy, then I will decide again another decision has to be made. Money, if you are rich, then you will go for shopping. If you are poor, you will go for cinema. Clear? Advantages: it is simple to understand and interpret because people are able to understand decision tree model after a brief explanation. Have value even with the little hard data. Important insights can be generated based on experts describing a situations and the preferences for outcomes. Okay, let's understand again with one more example. Now there is an example where condition includes sale amount. Okay, whether the customer is paid by check or credit, there are 4 steps. Complete the sale after verifying the signature. Once the customer has verified to the check, signed to the check, okay, I am going to verify the signature. If the complete sale is with no signature needed, for example credit card, no signature is needed, complete the sale. You can communicate electronically with the bank for credit card authorization and call the supervisor for the approval. So there are 4 conditions, 4 steps. You will complete the sale after verifying the signature, first thing. You can complete the sale without signature not needed. You will communicate with the bank for the credit card authorization, or you may call your supervisor for approval. Let's go ahead. So a sale is there. If it is under 50, okay, there is a question which is written here. Consider included the sale amount under 50. So I'm just going to see under 50 or above 50. This is where my 2 conditions are there. Either my sale is under 50 or either my sale is above 50. So if you see this diagram, I have written 1, 2, 3 because there is no need to write in rectangle. So here I have written 1, that is my first step. If it is under 50, then does it give me the check or it gives me a credit card? 2 things. So if it is check, complete the sale after verifying the signature. Very simple. I have written here. Third step. If it is a credit card, complete the sale with the no signature needed. Now if my sale is greater than 50, okay, if it is greater than $50, then I may call the supervisor for the approval, or I will communicate electronically with the bank for the credit card authorization. Okay, drawing a decision tree to show the non-cash purchase approval actions for departmental store. You will identify all the conditions and actions and the order and timing. You will begin building the tree from left to right, and you will make all possible moves here. If you see this, check, credit card, then if it is greater than, then check and credit card, and your authorization has to be done through bank. Let's take an example. I'll be explaining this example into the coming slides, but I wish that you all also write it on pen and paper. Okay, so the assignment is a cooperative bank is having XYZ is the name of the bank. It is going to grant loan under following condition. First, if the customer has an account with the bank and no outstanding loan is granted. But if the customer has an account but has some outstanding, then the loan will be granted under special condition, else the loan is rejected in all other cases. So this is an assignment, and you all can draw a decision tree basis on this assignment. Thank you so much for watching this series. I hope so you have understood and you will try the assignments. Meet you all later. Thank you.